Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies. Next up on the offensive line, we're going to talk about Eric McCoy, his season review. After his first 2 seasons of not missing a single game, he missed 5 games this year. Started off the year, with injuries and things like that, which was a very, very common theme with this team. So he ended up missing 5 games. Not anything, catastrophic or anything like that, but first time missing games in his career. So that kind of set him back just from the beginning. Didn't look the same for the most part when he came back, but I think once he settled in, he was fairly decent for us. His penalties would have been up this year. Rookie year had 7 penalties in 16 games, which is pretty solid for a rookie. Last year was a perfect year for him, only 3 penalties in 16 games. You can't ask for much more, from your center right there. This year probably would have set a career high if he played all 17 games, but he played 12 games, had 7 penalties. That's a little too much for him. He would have probably been in double digits if he played the entire season. And I can just blame some of that on him being injured, coming back from injury, probably got some penalties in there. Also playing with 4 different quarterbacks. I'm sure that didn't help. You getting different cadences, different calls, different offenses, and things like that. So penalties were going to be up for kind of everybody and just the entire team in general. So can't really fault him for that. And he's solid, man. Not here to bash him or praise him, honestly. I just think he had a super solid year. Nothing amazing, but nothing terrible. He's just a solid center. Think he's going to be the center for the Saints for the next 10 years. We can get used to him being a staple, in this offense and things like that. So you don't have to worry about him getting traded or things like that. Thought Ruiz was going to make that move to center and maybe see McCoy at guard, but after Ruiz this year, I don't think that's a possibility anymore. Maybe, but I just don't see it in the future. So I do think this was probably his worst season as a Saint, but it's only been 3 years. I think his first 2 years were pretty damn good. So this year was just a little off year, man. It was an off year for a lot of people. So it just is what it is. I think he'll bounce back. I think he'll be, great if he's healthy coming into next season. If he has a consistent quarterback behind him, because that's just tough, man. You're playing with all these different quarterbacks. Everything's just different. Especially with Taysom back there. You're going from Taysom to like Trevor Siemian, which is 2 totally different quarterbacks. Blocking schemes are totally different and things like that. So I think he'll be back on track next year. Full-time center. That Ruiz dream is probably done. So I think he'll be, right back where he was his first couple years. That's really all I got on him, man. Nothing too fancy. It's the center. This wasn't going to be a 10-minute video. But like I said, he's going to be a cornerstone for this offense for the next 5 to 10 years probably. He's probably going to be the center of the future and the present. So looking forward to seeing him, man. Hopefully he gets in the weight room this offseason, gets better, gets stronger, get quicker. All of those things you need, to be an elite center in the NFL. Right now I think he's just middle of the pack in terms of centers in the league. But a little work, little age, little maturing, he can be a top 10 guy because he was on his way there, especially after last year. He had a real good season. I think he took a step back, but I think he'll, get it right, step in the right direction this upcoming year. But that's Eric McCoy, man. Let me know what y'all thought about his season in the comments below. I know it's a center. It's not sexy. I'm going to try to get through these offensive linemen fairly quickly so we can get to, the skill positions and things like that because that's what everybody wants. Let's be honest. But this is the Boot Tragedies, and I'm out.